What's happening, people? Hope you're all well. Few people late to the party, but don't worry. We should have another couple jumping on. One of them being D. He ain't getting away with this one. Trust me. Ash, how are you, mate?
All good. How are you? You all right, Dan?
I'm buzzing, mate. I'm not gonna lie. I'm absolutely buzzing. I still can't believe that it's March and we are still. Well, I was gonna say 5 points. We're actually 8 points, depending on what Man City do now. It's
Indeed.
crazy, but we're not here to talk about Arsenal. But it's hard not to when I'm excited like this. It's unbelievable, mate. Tell you, the streets are not ready if we win this league. That's all I'm saying, Ash. That's all I'm saying. Emilio, about as frustrating as it can get. But how are you, mate?
Yeah, been better. I was there's me banging on about quadruple. Napoli winning the Champions League, Napoli winning the Scudetto, Fulham staying up, and Fulham winning the FA Cup. That was my dream. I think it's all falling to pieces. But yeah, it's just been better. But it's a game of football at the end of the day. So we move on, I guess.
Listen, we'll get into it, but sometimes when you're frustrated losing to Manchester United at Old Trafford, it means you're in half a bad side, mate. So maybe it ain't all bad as far as Fulham are concerned. My favourite person of the weekend, Liam. Liam, thank you so much for ruining everybody that supports Tottenham's weekend. Everybody crying into their beer. It's beautiful, including Antonio Conte. Thank you so much. I love your manager. I can't remember his name, but I love your manager. I love your players. It is an absolutely beautiful time to be an Arsenal fan and a shocking time to be a Spurs fan. What a circus of a club. What an absolutely horrible club they are. It couldn't happen to nicer people. Couldn't happen to a nicer club. Couldn't happen to nicer fans. Conte's been put in the hospital because of them. He's now lost his head. He's gone on a Ryanair flight. That's how bad it's got. Honestly, it is absolutely beautiful. Let us start, though. Let us start with Fulham. Because, Emilio, I picked up your side so much. Told you you've been the surprise package. Said you're going to do well. You've had some really good signings. I'm a big fan of Mitrovic. I'm a big fan of your manager and what he's done. I can't give him any praise, I'm afraid, at the weekend. I think they let you down completely from top to bottom. And from what I could hear, Fulham were clearly the best side against Manchester United in that tie and just were in control until they lost their heads. And if I'm honest with you, I've watched it all a few times, mate, and I'm really confused as to what happened. Yeah. It all went wrong within literally a click of the fingers, and the game's over and it's done. Your thoughts, mate?
Yeah, it's we there was a moment in that game I thought, once we took the lead, I think we're going to win this game. I honestly had confidence that we could close that game out. First half we were excellent. Maybe the final ball at times could have been a little bit better, but there was a couple decent shouts for VAR replays or even a penalty shout. Where was the VAR decisions in our favour? Both times not given. The first one on Luke Shaw and Mitrovic, hands down, that's a penalty any time of the day. The clip on the back of the heel might have been a little bit soft, but I've seen a lot less given for that this season. So there's inconsistencies there. But overall, first half, clean sheet, in control, pressed them well. We had good possession stats. Good, we've got a number of corners in favour of versus Man United. So I thought, overall, going to half time, the better team. Come out second half, all guns blazing again. Great. Mitrovic was in the right place. That was great for his confidence. He then had another header, which De Gea did well to palm away. I thought that was going in the top of the corner, and that would have definitely been game over. And again, Man United struggling to set their authority. They're always going to get a moment or two, but 1-0 down, in control, potentially scoring a second goal. Then suddenly, we conceded possession. Man United broke, and there was me thinking, and there was me effing and blind. This is going to be a goal. It's going to be a goal. And my first reaction was, oh, Williams got it off the hand. How the hell did he do that? It's only when I put moments of reflection. Hold on, that probably hit his hand. And Williams' reaction saying it didn't deliberately hit his hand, but if you think it actually hit his knee and bounced onto his hand. But it is what it is. To give away the penalty, move on, and next minute you've seen all the scenes on the touchline. Silva giving the officials a bit of abuse.
What did he actually do, Silva? I still don't know.
One man, he took a plastic bottle and threw it towards the officials. He then told the referee where to go, basically. And this is all off the back of the first half decisions, which didn't go our way with the 2 penalties. You know, if there's consistency, that was definitely a penalty. Went to VAR and it was given. Why wasn't the Shaw one even looked at? The second one, the back heel, Mitrovic, why wasn't it looked at? I just don't understand the VAR officials and the rules behind that. And that's what
mate, join the club. No one that gets it.
No one knows. And that's what drew the frustration, and he just lost his temper. And Mitrovic then got involved. He was probably in the wrong place at the wrong time. You know, Silva got the red card. Mitrovic was closest to the referee. Next minute, Mitrovic sort of, you know, started to abuse the referee, and the next minute he's gone off as well. So it just went completely.
Is that the first time then? Because Neil in the chat saying how many times is he? Is that the first time he's gone?
No, he's been sent off as Fulham. Not sent. He's been sent. He's had yellow cards. He's been sent into the stands. Honestly, he's sent off. But he's Portuguese. What do you expect? You know, he's a hot blooded. You know, a bit like myself. I could be a little bit hot blooded Italian at times. But look, I called it out on my show on Monday night. And as much as those two have done wonders for the club, they'd cost us that game on Sunday, as far as I'm concerned. Their antics, their behaviour is not acceptable. I can't condone that. And I said it on Monday before the FA published their announcement that there's going to be a further investigation and probably heavy fines. I want the club fined. I want Mitrovic heavily banned, and Marco Silva deserves to get heavily banned as well. And I want them to come and apologise to the fans for their behaviour. So they cost us that game. That was an opportunity to get to the semis. Brighton semi-final, winnable game. Who knows? We could have dreamed, but in 2 minutes we threw it all away. I don't blame William, because William did well to get back to the line to actually prevent that goal from occurring. It's unfortunately hit his hand. But at 1-1, you're still in the tie. 10 against 11. You know, the game's not over. 20 minutes to go. Anything can happen. But no, they're hot-headed tempers. Got out of control. Next minute is 1-1. Then 2 minutes later it was 2-1. Game over, to be honest with you. So I'm mightily fucked off. Excuse my French. I don't normally swear on these things. But I don't like that behaviour. At 70 minutes, the world saw Fulham, what they were capable of doing. We won a lot of fans, a lot of respect, a lot of praise, to use your adjective, Dan. And then that behaviour, suddenly the whole world's focusing on us for negative reasons. And it's like, reputationally, they've done a lot of damage to the club, and I don't like that. I don't want them out of the club, because they're still, as far as I'm concerned, they're legends in their own rights. But you can't physically abuse and physically, verbally and physically abuse officials. That's not acceptable, whether it's your team or not. I just can't condone that. And that's why I'm pissed off with them. So they better come and apologise, because they're not going to get a lot of respect from me until they do so.
See, like I was disappointed with Silva. I ain't gonna lie. In the interview, I thought it was an embarrassing interview, if I'm honest. Trying to justify why he did what he did and why everyone's pissed off. Yeah, that's not what it's about. We get that. No. We understand you're annoyed. You don't react like that, and you can't stick up for what Mitrovic is doing there. I'm sorry. No. I understand the consistency. Bruno should have gone the other day as well against Liverpool. Yeah. Same thing, but it doesn't excuse what Mitrovic has done.
No,
it was ridiculous, Emilio. And I really like the lad. I think he's been so good and vital to Fulham, but he's always had that hot-headed, nasty streak in him, which sometimes is good for you. But in this case, I mean, Liam, I'll ask you, like, what should happen now to Mitrovic, in your opinion? Like, if that's a Southampton player, if you're going out the FA Cup in the manner that Fulham did, like, surely something's got to happen to Mitrovic now. It can't just be like a game ban, can it?
I'd be fuming, mate. I wouldn't lie. I probably wouldn't want the player to play for my club again. But I think Mitrovic has done so much for Fulham that I think something like that, I think you can just maybe probably let him get away with. I don't know, but obviously he's not going to get away with it. He probably, I don't know what sort of ban they're going to get, because for me, if they're letting Bruno getting away with it, then Mitrovic has got to get like a little ban. So, but I really feel for you, Amelia. I know Fulham were fantastic. I didn't really watch the game, but what I heard of it, they were fantastic. And that just minutes let you down. And Mitrovic's always been that type of player, and I think his frustrations this season have been fantastic. I think this is one of the seasons where he probably hasn't really been disciplined or had like a red card. So for him to do that, it's really let himself down, especially after what seems like he was having such a good game and giving Fulham that potential result to get to the semi-final.
Yeah,
it is a massive shame, and I'll bring this in from James Emilio, just in general. It says, are you happy with the Khan family ownership? Are they doing well in your opinion? I mean, can't really look at the ownership on this one, but what's your thoughts?
No. Look, it's they've had a lot of criticism of not from myself, to be honest with you. I think they've meant well since they purchased the club. I know they've had a couple or 3 relegations in their tenure. The first one, they were destined to go down because we had an aging squad in 2014. The last 2 times we've gone up and straight back down. Again, bad transfer dealings and signings. They spent a lot of money, like Forest did in 2018. 100 million. They got relegated, and 2 years ago they backed Scott Parker, who then took the club down. So in their defence, they brought in a young English manager. It wasn't my cup of tea at the time when he got the job, but given their due, they didn't sack him. They learned from the mistake from the previous time when they had 3 managers in the season. They tried to change that. Unfortunately, that didn't work. So you've got to give them some respect. And they've pumped a lot of money into the club. They've developed part of the stadium, so it's a larger stand now. For next season, it'll be ready. They're committed to this club. So at the end of the day, we can have worse owners. Look at Crystal Palace. You've got Steve, banging on about his ownership and all that. So look, the grass isn't always greener. So I'm happy with what they're doing for the club. You always want more out of them, but they've spent millions on this club. And look, they've managed to get Silva, great manager, despite some of his antics. Mitrovic, they've managed to keep him at the club for 5 years. This is his first red card for the club. So, I'll take them. I'll happily take the Khans compared to anyone else I've seen, because there's definitely worse out there.
100. Iash says, not that deep. 3-game ban, end off. And that's from an Arsenal fan. I will say, Emilio, winning cures everything. International break, calm down, wait for the dust to settle. You win, I'm sure everyone will forget what's happened very quickly, because you've still got a chance of having a very good end to the season, even a good position in the league that no one would have thought you'd be in. So listen, if anyone's going to get Europe, I want it to be Fulham, Brentford or Brighton. I don't want it to be any of the other teams around there. So trust me, I still think you could have a good chance of a good season. I know previously you said you don't really want Europe, and I get that in terms of the squad, but
don't want it.
But listen, I say go for it. Why not? You build again in the summer, have some nice trips away in Europe. And, as long as it don't send you towards relegation, which I don't think it will if you had the right recruitment, I think you'll be all right, mate. So, yeah, good luck to you, man. I really hope you can do well, because I like Fulham.
It's all about consistency. I look at, the end of the day, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, I don't condone what they did, but I understand why there was an overreaction. It doesn't make it right, but you can understand why. And it's all about consistency. People, the FA are corrupt, and they want to hold me to task by saying, but they are corrupt. Ivan Toney is going to probably play for England against Italy tomorrow. Yeah, you're telling me that's physically abusing a referee unacceptable, but what Ivan Toney's done and has been accused of doing, and that's fact. Where's the punishment there? I just don't get the consistency here. Bruno Fernandes, you called it out before, did worse for Man United against Liverpool, but that's got
James is with you here.
Carpet. So
James is with you. You say you might feel let down by Silva and Mitrovic, but hold your head up. The officials have robbed you with the inconsistencies and incompetencies. So
and that's the thing that frustrated. That's why they got frustrated. The decisions didn't go our way, especially first half. But we pushed on. We didn't let us get to us. We went into half time in control despite being goalless, and those decisions went our way. At least one of them went our way. We might have been 1-0 up by half time, and it might have been a different outcome. But overall, proud of that performance for 70 minutes. We were able to go to Old Trafford and dominate in one of the best stadiums in the world. So I'm proud of the team, but some strange things happen sometimes in life, and that was a moment I don't think we'll ever see again.
Well, I hope that you come through it and you'll be all good. I'm sure you'll pick yourselves back up, mate. I really do, and I still think you can have a great season, to be honest with you. Let's come to Southampton, Liam. I was buzzing, man. I was buzzing. I was watching it with I wasn't watching. I was watching with my friend. I could hear the results coming in. And when they went 3-1, was it? I thought, this is going to be... Turn it off. Spurs are 1. This is annoying. Let's move on. Oh, what a beautiful ending. In seriousness, mate, I know you don't actually care who it's against. I'm obviously loving it because it's against Spurs. You're just happy to have got what you got. But are Southampton playing better under this guy?
He's just got the players fighting, and he's given the fans some hope, and that's just all we've wanted this season. You know what I mean? From me, the only thing I'm getting a bit annoyed is he's kind of trusting the same players who have let us down for the last 2 or 3 years, and that's probably the only frustrating bit. But I really love the guy. I love the passion, and it was classic Theo Walcott to come back against Spurs. Hasn't gotten a goal or assist all
Class.
season. He does it against Spurs, so I'm happy about that. I just need him to do a few against West Ham next time and put Lawless more in the mud and get him on Moyes' back and stuff like that. So no, I'm just happy. Yeah, I think I'd say to my mates, a lot of them, like Spurs is probably one of the worst top 4 sides I've ever seen in my life. They are absolutely awful. You would honestly thought we were in the top 4 side and they're 20th in the league. And that Conte thing afterwards. I would say I'd feel for him, but I won't lie. I know those players are crap, but he's terrible. He's just not what it is. He got forced out of Chelsea for a reason, even though he won the league and won the FA Cup. There's a reason that he got sacked, and that's why, because he plays crap football. He got dominated. You can't get dominated against bottom of the league. Even at 3-1 up, they had 3 shots on target and 3 goals. Honestly, I swear down to you, if both our centre backs didn't get injured in that first half, we'd have won that game comfortably, 100%. We had a better side, made them look idiots, and obviously, yeah, the penalty probably shouldn't have been a penalty, but realistically, I don't care. We've had no luck with us all season, so you're going to take those. And at the end of the day, even if Spurs won 3-2, that would probably been one of their luckiest wins of the season. So from that performance, I think maybe we have hope of staying up. Don't think we will, but it gives me hope, and just hope Spurs don't get top 4 either, because that would be the most undeserved thing I've ever seen in my life. They're terrible.
They are terrible, and it's brilliant to watch. I must admit, I look at Southampton, and I've said for weeks I think you're going down, but they've got a little bit of fight in them, man. Fair play, they have for a young side. They do seem a little bit fearless in parts of games. I look at that and think that I've seen that in this Arsenal side throughout the whole of this season in terms of how fearless they are and what fight they've got in them. And you sometimes get that with a young team. The problem is the knock-on effect you get is the inexperience and what comes with that. And I think that might just be one of the reasons as to why Southampton might just not have enough. But am I right in saying you've got some winnable fixtures coming up, Liam? West Ham is the next one you've said.
Yeah,
Who else have you
we've
coming up?
got a tough run. I think they were saying on average, I think us and Forest have got the toughest run for the end of the season.
Ah,
So
that sucks.
we got West Ham next, but in April we got City, Arsenal, and Newcastle. But we've also got Palace and Bournemouth. So it's like those games against West Ham, Palace, and Bournemouth. If we're not getting 9 points, then we haven't really got any chance, because then we've got Forest as well in May, but after that it's Brighton, Fulham, and Liverpool, and those games are just it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. I'm more scared of Brighton and Fulham than Liverpool, won't lie, but it's a difficult one, because unfortunately a lot of teams around us have got better run-ins. Look at Palace, and they pretty much got all the bottom 10 to play, so it's like we just have to scrape points. But to be fair, we've probably been better against the top sides this season than we have the bottom sides, and I think it kind of sums it up within a week when you get a point at Old Trafford. I think we're the only Premier League side to keep a clean sheet there. Come from 3-1 down against Spurs and get a 3-0 draw, and lose 2-0 at home to Brentford. So it's like, even though Brentford are a difficult side, but on those 3 games, you probably one game you expect us to get win or a point, or it's Brentford. So, but those are the type of games you're going to lose. But at the moment, they're the type of games we're going to need to win, especially against Brighton and Fulham. But it's going to be a difficult one, but I've got hope. I'm not expecting us to stay up. So if we go down, we go down. We restart again. I think that's what we need. But either way, I'll take it, and we'll see how it goes, game by game. Beat West Ham, you never know. So those are definitely games we need to win.
If you stay up, I hope you get a hell of a lot of credit. That's all I'm saying, because everyone I speak to says you're going down. So if you manage to do it, it would be, well deserved. I wanted to ask you though, Liam, if it does go, if the inevitable happens and you slip down into the Championship, what players are you going to struggle to keep hold of in that setup?
A lot of players are going to go. That's the problem. That's the only thing that worries me, is the players we're going to lose. Romeo Lavia is going to go to a top club. I know that. The kid's been called up to Belgium first team for the first time. He's absolutely unbelievable. He's definitely going to go to a top 6 side, 100%. New player we bought in the summer, but the winter, two of them. Carlos Alcaraz, absolute baller, 20 years old, Argentinian, centre mid / cam. He'd probably be a great side for someone like Leicester or potentially Fulham yourselves. Fantastic player. Calvin Sulemano's come from Rennes in the winter. 25 million. The guy's quick. One of the best dribblers I've ever seen. So, yeah. We're going to Carl Walker-Peters as well. I know Bella Kotchap. The problem is, what let us down is that we were a team of individuals at the start. And you've got to play as a team. And that's what's let us down on many occasions. And I think since Sellers has come in, you can kind of see that we're starting to play as a team. And they're fighting for each other. So if we can keep that attitude for the rest of the season, then we all have a chance. You never know. I think any team in that, from Palace down to us, can go down. So it doesn't matter how big of a club you are, you're never too big to go down. So that's the way it is, mate. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, man. Game by game. I think if you do, you're going to struggle. There's a few better Kotchap, James Ward-Prowse, Kyle Walker-Peters.
Prowse, didn't even mention him.
There's going to be teams that are going to be well interested in him, and I cannot lie, he's a top set piece taking is unreal. I think Walker-Peters is very underrated. I think he's been a very good player for you. One that Spurs let get away, really, in my opinion. So yeah, it's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough. Before I introduce D, just give me 1 second, guys. We got you out of the Emirates.
Oh yeah. No, I can't wait for that. That's an easy done.
Can't wait for that.
We'll come back to this after the 5-0 battering.
Oh no,
mate.
I look forward to March when Palace come to the Emirates.
I can't wait for Zaha to go back to his playground and play with a few of your players.
Look, I think Saka is a great player, but he looks a bit tired. Just one more game in his pocket, being locked up by Tyrick Mitchell, and then afterwards he can have a little rest.
Yeah, that might come back to bite you, my guy. I might have to call Star Fuggery.
Just one more game in his pocket, being locked up by Tyrick Mitchell. It was Patrick Vieira. We lost all of that for what? Right now, the managers that's been listed, Roy Hodgson.
Yes.
Are you taking?
He's the favourite at the moment, right?
I can't believe it.
This is why you wanted me so bad. You just set up this video. That's why you don't want it to go to waste.
Welcome, D.
It's a good time to be a Palace fan. I can promise you that. At least we got rid of that Arsenal legend merchant or whatever it is. At least we got rid of him and back to normal proper football. Enough of this passing around. It's good. It's good times at Palace.
Normal football resumes under Hodgson at Palace. It's
Proper
a beautiful
football, man. Enough of this Arsenal nonsense. We're done with it, man. We're done with this Arsenal nonsense. At least he's gone. It's good times.
Well, mate, you need to hope that this guy is going to do what he does best and play a style of football that keeps you in this league, mate. Seriously, come on, man. Talk to me. You've got Vieira out, Hodgson's in. 10 games to go. What are you expecting, my friend?
Good times, man. Good times. In the first few days, it was hurt. It was bad, but now it's enough. Enough is enough. Look, jokes aside, what I'm expecting, it depends. It depends on what Roy we get. But funny enough, now that the emotions are out of it, I'm expecting a reaction. I am expecting a reaction, and my confidence is growing now that I can soak everything in. The reason for that is, we can see it as well from the videos. The players, as much as it's negative football, the players respect Roy. That was the case as well when he was at Palace. Even though it was absolutely terrible to watch at times, they respect the guy for what he is. Roy is he's a local guy who used to go to school not too far away from Palace, so he understands the club as well. And we've got an improved squad from when we last had him. Zaha under Roy, despite being horrific football to watch, he scored 11 goals, surprisingly. So he managed to get goals out of him. And also, it depends on what Roy you get. The Roy that we had when he first joined us wasn't terrible, but towards the end, yes, it was very bad. But when you look at the squads from the start to the end had experienced players, but one of the oldest squads, if not the oldest squads in the Premier League. We had Scott Dan, Gary Cahill, James McCarthy, James MacArthur, everyone like that. So the squad has changed since the last join. And when you look at the fixture list, in a funny way, at first I was like, if we sack Vieira, maybe it'll get worse. But now I'm trying to think about it, trying to be a bit more logical about it. There's a potential that it could also go very well for us as well. There is a potential as well. It depends on what row we get. But
winnable games now. Got winnable games, man. Can't lie. It's like, Vieira's been there, done the hard stuff. Roy's got the winnable games. I know that none of them are easy.
Yeah,
Liam,
Roy's
I know,
got the winnable games. But the perception from everyone, including Palace fans as well, at the start, maybe now a few Palace fans are clocking onto it, is that's it. Palace are relegated. And that's because it's Roy Hodgson. He got relegated with Watford, but we've seen Roy for about 4 years. We know the strengths, we know the weaknesses. First of all, it makes no sense to appoint Roy Hodgson when you're struggling to score goals. But here we are. But I mean, Ash might remember as well, Roy Hodgson actually beat Leicester, 4-1, 5-0 or something crazy like that in the past. So it's not like we have no goals in them. So it depends on what Roy we get. And in that squad that we had the likes of, we had better attacking players than we did towards the end of Roy's period at the club. So if you look at the upgrades that we've had from when Roy was last at the club, I'm trying to look at the positives more. I feel like it's easy to write off Palace straight away, but it could also go the other way. But as you said, Potts, there are some winnable games, and it could go horribly wrong as well. If we end up losing to Leicester, for example, and then lose to Leeds as well, because these are teams that are below us. But then again, it wouldn't also surprise me if it goes well as well. I don't think it'll be as horrific as people say.
Well, let's see, Liam. I know you've got a shoot, man. Before you do, Palace, are they in a relegation fight for you? Oh, you're on mute, bro. Somehow
he's not speaking. It's not speaking facts. That's why he was on mute. But look, now go ahead, Liam. What was he gonna say?
No,
I know what's happened.
I think anyone from Palace to us are in a relegation battle. But do I think Palace stay up? Yeah, I think they've got the easiest run out of everyone down at the bottom. And Roy Hodgson. I know, as I know, my mate's a Palace fan. He's not obviously too happy with it, but I think it's just the way it is. You're obviously not gonna keep him from next season. So I think at least you got someone in there who knows the players and knows he's gonna get the players to give everything for them. So I think you got to look at it in a positive way. It's crap being 12th and thinking about a relegation battle. That should never be happening in the Premier League, but that's just the way the season is. So, no, I do hope Palace stay up. I like them as a club, and I do think they will. But obviously, just restart next summer and then see how it goes.
Fair play, man. Fair play. Listen, Liam, we'll let you shoot off, bro, because I know you got to
No,
go. But thank you so
man.
much for
See you
jumping
guys
on, man.
Next
Next week, bro.
See you, mate.
In a bit, Liam. This super chat comes in. Oh man, he's cooking D, man. D, you got cooked by Iwobi and McNeil, 3-0, no good. Listen, I don't feel personally like
under
Palace will
Vieira,
go
yeah,
down.
under the Arsenal legend, yeah, we did. You're right, we did. It was bad. No, jokes aside, I didn't want Vieira to get sacked.
No.
And our problems are bigger than just Roy Hodgson and Patrick Vieira. At first, I was mad, bro. I was crazy mad. I've never felt that mad before. Like we've gone through way worse periods in terms of like relegation battles and awful squads and where we're heading towards. But the day that I found out Vieira got sacked, I was in my bed at like 2-3 a.m. and I couldn't sleep. I was genuinely thinking, like, has this genuinely happened? Not because Vieira got sacked, but it's the fact that it was Vieira got sacked, Roy Hodgson's coming back. Like, I'll be honest, Roy, no disrespect to him, but the truth is he made me hate football towards the end anyways. He genuinely made me hate football. And there are some Palace fans that are saying, I'll listen to it on radio, but I'm not going to watch it because that's how bad it was. But then again, that squad compared to this squad, it has improved. There are still weaknesses in the squad, but it has improved from then. You couldn't get any worse anyways from back then anyways. But yeah, that's the main positive. And if he can replicate that 17-18 season, 18-19 season form with that, I mean, it helps him as well that some of these players are still here. The likes of, James MacArthur still here, Zars. Like, some of these players know what to expect. So the adjustment period shouldn't be that long as well. Saying that is criminal. It's still criminal, the fact that, I don't know if you guys know, but we were seriously considering sacking Vieira in February 2021. Was it 21? 22, I mean. So last year. So 13 months. In 13 months, the best that they can think of is Roy Hodgson. The problem is bigger than Roy. I can't slate Roy. We have to get behind Roy for 10 games. And then afterwards, yeah, there's bigger problems. There's bigger problems at this football club. Lots of things are being exposed.
Bigger problems at the top. Emilio, you were obviously not a fan of what was going on Fulham-wise, but I imagine that if this was the Fulham situation, you'd be a bit frustrated. What do you make of this Crystal Palace situation right now? Roy Hodgson, someone you know and done well with Fulham.
Yeah, absolutely. He did an excellent job for Fulham. He'll always be a Fulham legend. He actually came to the ground about a month or so ago. I think it was a Tottenham game at home where he was given a Fulham Legend Award. That game, he looked his age, to be honest, bless him. So that I worry for Crystal Palace that he's going to, again, further scar his relationship, to be honest with you. I think it's a bad move for Crystal Palace. It shows a bit of lack of ambition there, D. I think you're obviously safety first. At the end of the day, it's getting over the line. I think you've got enough quality there to pick up a few wins. You know, if you get 3 wins out of the next 10 games, you're safe. But it's
drawing every game.
Yeah, he struggled with Watford last season. He took Watford down, but I think that was a lost call. That was a different call. Watford were a much worse side than Palace. But I hear what you're saying, D, about why is that the best they can do? Getting Roy Hodgson, lack of ambition, and Patrick Vieira again. I think I've said on this show a couple of times. I think maybe it's a little bit harsh, but you can't get away with 12 games without a win in any division, to be honest, however good a manager you potentially have the credentials. So I'm not surprised he's got the sack. Not many managers survive winless in 12 games, 13 league games, and that's why he paid the price. And his brand of football isn't particularly great. How many goals have you scored this season? So I know you keep saying there's no squad depth there. Maybe that's a root cause, but in the day, it's he didn't get the best out of this Palace team, which is why he's paid the price for it. To be honest, unfortunately,
I mean, this is key as well from James Gallagher.
Yeah, big loss.
Big loss.
Massive.
It's not just like we lost Gallagher, and funny enough, I'll say this to other people. Benteke as well. Benteke, you would think, oh, he's done lost calls anyways, but Benteke and Gallagher combined together, that was 12 goals. We lost both of them. We lost Aaron Wan-Bissaka in 2019 to Man United. Still haven't replaced him. We lost Van Aanholt, I don't know, when I can't remember, but it was time to move. We still haven't replaced him. So the problem is bigger than, I don't want to get mad here, but the problem is way bigger than the managers. And that's what pisses me off the most. It's the fact that people running this football club, there's so many things that's come out. There's been things that's coming out that Vieira actually applied to the Leeds job, believe it or not, not that long ago when they sacked the manager. And in a way, I don't blame him, as crazy as it might sound, because we only showed him 1 out of 4 windows in terms of ambition. He wanted more experienced players. He wanted more players. We wanted more players. We know that we had to strengthen. 1 good window is not good enough for a squad that's been lacking investment for God knows how many years. I mean, we still have some of the players, as I'm saying right now, that Roy Hodgson had. We still haven't got rid of them. And that's due to a lack of ambition. Our ownership group that we have right now will see Parish. He owns 10% of the club shares, but he has a final say. I mean, he's been a great servant. He kept us up all these years. And on top of that, he saved us from administration. But there comes a time where you have to have a bit of creativity off the field. If you don't have the money, you have to be able to compete off the field. And right now, even when you look at our scouting, we've signed some very good players. But those players are very limited. I mean, majority of the good players, well, not majority, but I'll say this, 50-50. So some of them were Vieira signings, French connections that we saw. And the others was just championship signings that you made, players that stepped up to the plate. Now, that model is good enough to a certain extent. But when it comes to a stage where you're just looking at the championship and you're relying on the manager's pool, that's not going to be good enough for a club like Palace. When is the last time we signed someone from South America? Or sign someone from Asia, or I don't know, a country like Turkey, like, do you get it? Or even Italy? We haven't. Our recruitment is so restricted. So my bigger cause is, I don't care if it's Vieira, I don't care if it's Roy, I don't care if it's Potts that's managing this team. Next season, we will get relegated unless we invest money. That's the most straightforward thing. We spent the least amount of money after a good season that we had last year. That disappointment falls on, yes, I get what you're saying, Emilio, in terms of you have to still get better out these players, but I feel like as a team, we just switched off. We just switched off. The manager, after the international break, was meant to come back and was meant to have contract talks with him. They postponed that. So the club clearly didn't have belief in the manager. The manager kind of lost faith. That reflects on the players. But the whole sacking thing as well, I mean, they only called him. They couldn't even say it face to face. It's just a shambles. It's just a shambles. But yeah, Steve Parish ain't. It's not. I don't know. Well, he might be. You could say he's tight, but there's talks about in January where John Textor, one of our American owners, he said that he was happy to put forward £30 million, but Steve Parish didn't. You know, he didn't use that money. And why not? I don't know, man. What can I say?
Man, it's crazy. Ash, Sam says if Crystal Palace get relegated, can we call them Glass House? I don't see this happening, Ash.
No, I mean, looking at the fixtures, like the guys have said previously, they've got a nicer run of fixtures than some of us down there. But yeah, I mean, it's always a worry. Like Roy Hodgson, when I read it on the news, I was like, I just couldn't make head or tail of it. You know, will he do the job? Survival specialist, can we call him that? You know, he's getting on a bit, and it was only last season that he's took Watford down. But I think they'll be okay. I think they'll be absolutely fine. They've got an easier run of fixtures than teams like Forest, for example, West Ham. So we'll see. But I think they'll still be in the Premier League. But I can't see Roy staying beyond the temporary contract he's got. I just can't.
Nah, me neither, man. Me neither. Let's stick with you, Ash. Let's move to your club. James in the super chat, big up James, says, I'm not done cooking, Ash. Says, I'm not leaving yous out. I've seen another win at the King's Power. FaZe versus Tarkowski on a corner has me licking my chops. Talk to me about Leicester. I don't ever know what to say about Leicester. 1 minute I'm saying they look like they're going down. The next minute they pull something out of the bag. I've always said, Ash, and I'll remain saying this, you've always got a chance when you've got James Maddison in your side. And I just think this kid is ridiculously good, and I want him. I would take him over Fabio Vieira like that in the summer, and I think he's going to give Leicester a chance. I actually think it's not just him. You have got a better squad than a lot of teams, and there's definitely at least 3 sides, in my opinion, that are worse than you, maybe even 4 or 5. So talk to me, man.
Yeah, so I think basically I share your thoughts. I think we've got a good enough squad to stay up in the Premier League, but they've just got to get rid of the sort of toxic vibes that are going around there. Obviously, it's quite evident that the manager's lost a lot of the fans and what seems like some of the players as well. We've not had the rub of the green with injuries. Obviously, Maddison's been out a few times, and it's normally when he has a sort of batch of fitness that we tend to pick up form and do well. Tielemans is coming back now. He's fit. And we're giving Everson a chance. 1 game, picked up points. Ward is now
Finally
cast away. And Rodgers has said that could be what's happening for a string of games now, which is what everybody on the sidelines has been screaming all season, that we needed to mix it up back there and give another goalkeeper a chance. So, 1 game for Everson, picked up a point away at Brentford. So, it's a good start. Maddison's back. He seems to be really involved, obviously, on his Instagram and things like that. He's still very passionate and positive about the point, trying to get positive vibes. And we've got 3 games now that we really, really need to be having a go at. Crystal Palace. We've got Bournemouth coming to us. And then we've got Aston Villa coming to us as well. Games that I think really we should be having
winnable.
a good go at. Yeah. And Rodgers has just got to stop being stubborn. That's the long and short of it. We've got players in that squad that need to be brought back in. And
what about this guy? Neil says
exactly. Ndidi. But with the style of play that Rodgers is trying to get in, he can't pass the ball very well. Dan, that's the truth. That he's great at interceptions. He's Route 1 footballer, Ndidi, and that's what he does best. But with the style of play that Rodgers is trying to play, it's inviting pressure on players like Ndidi to release the ball and be good on the ball, and he's just not, unfortunately. But when we played a more Route 1 style, Ndidi fits perfectly, which is why Mendy and Samara are being favoured, because they're a little bit better on the ball than NDD, but not necessarily better at the central defensive midfield role that they should be playing and getting it out and up to the strikers. But yeah, Rodgers tippy-tappy football, and that's what we've seen all season, unfortunately.
Was it a good result of the weekend, though, for Leicester, as far as you're concerned?
If you look at the table and hindsight, then yeah, you're happy with the point. But if you look at the game, you feel it's a missed chance towards the end of that second half. You know, we put them under a bit of pressure. They dealt with it well. But yeah, we could have picked 3 points up there. But, you know, the international break done us harm last time. All we can hope is it does us good this time. And when we come back, we get a few points on the board and get away from that dreaded 12th to 20th place relegation battle.
So I want you to do me a favour, man. I want you to do all you can on the 15th of April to try and get something against City. That's all I care,
try.
man. I mean, like, just try.
You
I mean,
better not. You better not.
It's at the Etihad, isn't it? So
yeah, you play all right against City, though. Like, do you remember,
do.
like, the last few years? There's been some crackers, Leicester City.
Yeah, we normally give them a good game or beat them. Obviously, a couple of seasons ago under Rodgers, I think we gave them a bit of a slapping at the Etihad when Maddison scored that really good goal, and the year we won the FA Cup. But yeah, we generally do all right. And if it wasn't from an absolute world beater this season from De Bruyne, we would have got a point against them earlier this season, to be honest. But that free kick was unstoppable. It was fantastic. But yeah, we'll try our hardest, Dan.
Yeah, fair play to you, man. Fair play to you. Lastly, before we do come to a close, I want to ask you about this lad, because I really like him. Dewsbury Hall. I think he's got potential to be a very good player, Ash.
Yep, a fantastic player. Again, a bit like Harvey Barnes. I think I've said this on the show a few times. You either get a great game out of him or a game where they go missing. You never get sort of a consistent Dewsbury Hall or a consistent Barnes. You either get fantastic or awful. You're off at 60 minutes. And that's unfortunately the problem with those two. But I'm not bashing them. When they're on a good day, people are even talking about, you know, more Barnes, but England call ups and when's he going to get the nod? But if you were watching him week in, week out, you'd understand why that's not happening yet.
Listen, I'm a fan of what I've seen of him, but I don't watch Leicester every week. But I do like some of his play. I think he's got something about him which I think could have potential, and that's what I mean. Leicester, you look at these players they've got, man. You mentioned Ndidi, Harvey Barnes. Yeah. They ain't going down, man. They've got way too much, man. Yeah. Way too much.
We'd think so. I mean, like I say, I think it's just probably a lot of defensive blunders and goalkeeping blunders that have caused us to lose games. And let's hope that that's the end of it now with Everson playing. And with like Evans, well, I think he's caught another injury, so he's going to be out for 2 to 3 weeks again. But with us having Face and Satar, you know, it's a new centre-back partnership that don't seem to be too bad on its day, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
Potts love that. Potts, I realise you love that phrase. You ain't going down to every single person that comes on the show. But according to you, we're playing in the NBA, not in the Premier League.
Everyone's staying up.
No one goes out. Exactly. You always try to act like the nice guy. No, you ain't going down. You got quality. You got Hodgson.
Gotta give you boys some hope. Do you know what I'm saying? Gotta give you boys some hope.
Well, finally, you're gonna face some good teams. Let's see.
Well, man. Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting end to the season, that's for sure. Top, bottom, and middle.
You better not run away from the show, you know. you better.
Mate, we'll all be here, man.
All right, cool.
Listen, a closing question for the three of you. I'll get involved as well, actually. Who's going to finish higher in this season? West Ham or Crystal Palace? Ash.
Palace. There's absolutely no doubt.
Yeah.
Oof, it's a good question. I think West Ham. I think West Ham will start to find a bit of form, to be honest with you. I think West Ham, again, won't go down. They're not one of my bottom three. I think West Ham can... Hodgson's going to make it difficult for Crystal Palace to be beaten, but I think West Ham will probably a bit more win a couple of games, lose a couple of games. But it's all about 3 points on the board. A point here and a point there isn't quite enough for you, D. That's why I slightly worry for you guys.
I mean,
I'm going to
it's
say
easy.
this now. I'm going to say this now. Palace are going to finish ahead of West Ham,
Mm.
and I'm going to add that to when we absolutely ruin this West Ham friend of mine, because he is got way too much chest at the moment for a
he
team
is
that are
shameless.
fighting
I'm telling
relegation.
you, stop calling him lawless. He's shameless. I swear. Well, once they knocked out Europe, I don't care. I don't care if Palace will get relegated. I need that guy is getting away with too much criminal talking about his team. Why is he even talking to Tottenham? How do you even allow that? What are you talking about? They literally spent 170 million pounds and they're 18th. And there's 10 games remaining. Do you know how much of a stinker that is? But then again, they've got Southampton. If they lose against Southampton, that could, I mean, that could be scary.
Well, Dan reckons Dan from Man United reckons they're going down. Like he
They're in
seriously
trouble.
reckons West Ham are going down. He's
That's
put them
the
as
thing.
18th.
I get what Emilio is saying about they got enough in their squad, but then again, I get it. They got a point against Villa. I get that. But then again, they beat that Cypriot bartenders in Europe. Then they got smashed against. They literally got smashed against Brighton. They literally got smashed against Brighton 4-0 as well. And I remember going to the Brighton game. I can't lie. The good thing about this Vieira getting sacked is I'm not getting cooked by these results. There's been other stuff to talk about because this has been a horrific week. We lost against Brighton, lost against you lot as well. But Vieira thankfully saved the day. We haven't got time to talk about them games. But they lost 4-0 against Brighton. I mean, I don't know. They got some hard games coming up. They got some winnable games coming up. It can go either way. They got us. They got Brentford. They got Liverpool. They got Man United still to play. They got
us.
Lot,
they got City.
Yeah,
They've got to come to us as well. West Ham.
Yeah, they got City as well. Yeah.
They got horrible fixtures, man. Horrible.
They play us next game right after the international break at Craven Cottage Sunday week.
Not got an easy run. They've really not.
That's the one positive about Palace. I'm not saying that it means we're staying up because there isn't a easy. I don't like. There are easier games, of course. It should be in theory. Facing Leicester should be easier than facing Arsenal, right? In theory, anyway, because we're both struggling sides, and Arsenal would just get away with paying off refs and that. But so in that fact, it should be better. So we have got easier games coming up, but then again, it doesn't guarantee success.
These are my three. These are my three. I'm with Sheriff. These are my three. I honestly think
you have to look
Forest,
at the fixture list, not just the team.
Forest
The fixture list is important as well. That's what I'm saying.
It is, but Forest's away record is abysmal, man. And I love Forest. I like them a lot. But I just think these three are going down, man. I mean, it could change, of course. I think Dyche has got enough to keep Everton up. I think Leeds are looking like they can score goals, and that's always important.
Wolves are dropping a little bit.
They're a strange one, but I think they've got enough, man. I think they've got enough. Look at this, Forest fan TV. Yeah. I love you, bro, and I really want you to stay up. Trust me. Yeah. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't know, man.
That's what I mean.
For Forest, it's hard, isn't it?
You just said Forest are going down. You said Forest are going down, and then afterwards, as soon as he sees a Forest fan, you know what? I really hope you stay. He's playing politics.
No, I hope they stay up. I just don't think they will.
Okay,
I just don't think they will. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
who have they got? Who's Forest got?
They've got horrible fixtures. Horrible fixtures. I think.
They got Chelsea, Arsenal, Brighton, Brentford, Liverpool, United. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, they still got Leeds to face. I mean, they could. Villa, Wolves, but Villa ain't easy. I'll tell you that. I mean, look at the league table with Villa. Ever since Emery took over, they are hard side to beat. I mean, with us, maybe final day of the season, but I don't know, man.
It's gonna go to the wire. I think this the Premier League. People say, is it the best in the world? I mean, really? Come on, it's by far the best in the world. It's absolutely embarrassing, actually. The competition of late for me.
Can't you say it's bad though? In a way, why are so many teams fighting relegation? Can't you say like it's just teams battling off who's worse?
It's just
we haven't won it, but we haven't won a game in 3 months, and we're still 12th. How does that
exactly?
What does that show for other teams? It shows that it's been absolutely horrific down there in terms of. It's not a case of Palace will stay up because they're being great. It's like who's worse than each other. It's not like there's any equality. All teams they seem like they're bad. I don't know. Of course,
what? This is a great point.
Competition
Forest
better,
fan.
but
last game of the season is Everton v Bournemouth, Leicester versus West Ham, and Palace versus Forest. Survival Sunday question
that
mark.
Depends on our games. I'm not saying it because I'm just a Palace fan, but then again, if it goes well. I mean, we could pick up.
But Forest, Bournemouth, and West Ham, they could all be like in with it. Like, I think Palace will
We
be
got
fine.
Southampton,
It's
we
more
got Everton,
Forest.
we got Leeds, we got Wolves, we got West
Yeah,
Ham,
D,
we
you'll
got
be fine.
Bournemouth
You
for that
honestly,
game.
I know you're
You'll be
digging
all
me
right.
here, but you will be all right. Like, I've got
Yeah.
no even qualms about Palace, but I think
It might go to
looking
the
at
final
those,
day, but yeah,
nah,
just
yeah, oh
scraping,
yeah,
it
no,
might
I don't
scrape
think
it.
it'll be Palace that are in there though. I really don't. But listen, we're gonna leave it there, people. Ash, big up, man. Thank you so much. Good to see your smile on your face now that Leicester aren't getting bashed and battered, man. So it's nice.
It's an international break.
Yeah,
There we
that's
go.
it.
Big up Dan, by the way. He says West Ham are going down. And he said it last night on the show.
Oh, he's
It's
getting
happening.
cooked. I'm telling
Lawless
you,
will be
Lawless is
getting
getting
it.
cooked. Oh
If
my
they go
days, we
down,
need to.
oh my God.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean,
somehow
for
we're still
real.
being raced for Europe. I heard his claims about, well, it doesn't matter. We'll still be in Europe if we win it. Like, it's going to be the championship, still in the race for Europe.
Can you imagine? Can you actually imagine? Knowing him though, that's something that would happen with him. Do you know what I mean? He's one of those lads. But
You know what's funny? So
they're
before
going
we
out,
go,
man.
you know what's funny? The fact that he's got finals to get, and most likely it's going to not even be his team there. He's going to do a watch along for like another. Like, that's the most Lawless.
Fiorentina and Genk or something.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to be there watching their teams, and he's going to rave on about it. It's going to be like, well, I was there. Look, it's West Ham still. I'm West Ham influence. We're still in the final. But that's just sums up Lawless. He's got a ticket to the finals where they're not even going to make it.
Mate, it is a madness, isn't it? It's a madness. Ash, big up. D, big up. And Emilio, big up yourself. Make sure you go follow these guys, man, at D Palace, at Teddy Nello, and go follow the Cottage Talk as well for all Fulham content. And make sure you follow Ash over on Twitter. People, we're out of here. We'll see you next time. We've got some a little bit different for the international break. I won't say too much because these three will then know what's happening. But it should be fun and good banter as always. So until then, we'll see you next time and up the Arsenal. Take care, people.